Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be talking to you about Box and Whisker plots, how to create them, as well as how to analyze them and read them. All right. There is quite a bit of terminology you'll need to know here. It's vocabulary terms. Okay, we're going to be dealing with things called quartiles. And all quartiles are medians within the data, so halfway points within the data. Quartile 1 is going to be the halfway point of the lower half of the data. Quartile 2 is going to be the actual median of the data. And quartile 3 is going to be the median of the upper half of the data. And when we draw one out, I'll point all that out to you as we go. You're also going to create an interquartile range, and that's going to be the difference between quartile 3, the upper quartile, and quartile 1, the lower quartile. And then the last two pieces of information are going to be the extremes, the upper and lower extremes. And really those are the easiest pieces of information here, because when you're looking at a data set, there's simply the largest and smallest number, and that's all. But again, I'll point that all out to you as we move through. So our first example here is just giving us a set of values, and they're wanting us to create a box and whisker plot. So the best thing to do here, and if you're doing anything with median, you have to rewrite it from least to greatest, or greatest to least. But I'm going to just do least to greatest. So it looks like the smallest number we have is 15. All right. And then the next number will be 18. And then 21 and 22. And then looks like we have two 28s and a 32. All right. The reason why we do that again is because anytime you're finding the median, you can only identify the middle number if they're in some type of numerical order. Okay, so we're lucky here. We have, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, an odd number of values. So if you know anything about median, odd number of values is a bit easier because you have a direct middle number. And in this case, it looks to be 20, like it's going to be 22. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and circle 22. And I usually just draw a line right below it, and I name it. The median of the entire set of data is the second quartile, and I'm going to write second Q. All right. They also refer to it as the median. You know, as I drew the circle there, you can see I've separated the data into a lower half of numbers and a higher half of numbers of the median. So now we're going to go and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to find the median number of the lower half. So looking at 15, 18, and 21, which one falls in the middle? Well, 18. So I'm going to put a circle around that, draw a little line down. I'm going to put first Q. Okay, the first quartile is also referred to as the lower quartile because it's the lower numbers below the median. We're going to do the exact same thing to the right of your median or your second quartile. The middle number there is going to be 28. All right, so I'm going to name that third Q. All right, and then the only other pieces of data that you're going to need at this point are the two numbers, the lowest and the highest. So I'll circle those right here, 15 and 32. Okay, so really the only numbers we don't use will be 21 and 28 when we create our box and whisker plot. So this typically happens on a number line. So I'm going to start by drawing out a number line here as straight as I can. And all right, there we go. And then we're going to notch out some tick marks here, and we're going to start at 15. And we'll take them all the way through to 32. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All right, so 32. Let me extend my line just a bit. All right. So what we're going to do then, here we go, is we're going to start placing points for each of those values. So what I'm going to do first is go ahead and label. Oops, we want to do that. Go ahead and label a couple of values here. I already labeled 15. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and label 32. Just wanted to make sure I had it all the way out there. Okay, I'm going to label my lowest and highest numbers first, and then go ahead and place dots above them. Okay, these dots, when you make a box and whisker plot, don't go on the number line, they go above the number line. So I'm going to place one dot right above 15. and I'm going to place a dot above 32. And you try to keep them as even as you can. All right. And then what you're going to do is go ahead and do the same thing for each quartile. So every number you have circled and labeled up at the top, you're going to go ahead and label that as well. So let me go back here and count to 18. So we have 15, 16, 17, and 18. If you want to number all the numbers on the number line, that's fine. It's definitely not necessary. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that now. So we have 18, 19, 20, 21. So 22 would be about right here. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. So there we go. We have all the values we need labeled. Now we place points above them. So above 18, we go above 22, and above 28. All right, just like that. And again, all these points are representing are the halfway or the median marks of our data set. So at this point, it's time to actually create the box and whisker. And to do that, you're going to create your interquartile range. And your interquartile range is represented by a box, which is the box and whisker. So you're going to make a box that extends from your lower quartile or first quartile all the way to your third quartile. So I'm going to show you how that's done. I'm going to draw a box that extends all the way over and all the way back. Just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can see it looks like a rectangle. The next thing you're going to do is mark your median within that box. To do that, you simply draw a line that travels through the point of your median, 22 in this case. And then to finish off your plot, you extend a line from your upper quartile to your upper extreme and your lower quartile to your lower extreme. Just showing that the data goes from all the way from 15 all the way through 32, and the medians are right in between there. You can see 18 to 28. Now again, they'll go and ask you questions, which you'll see in the next example, that you may have to answer. We just wanted to concentrate on creating one at this point. So let's take a look at one more example here of creating one. And again, I'm going to start off by rewriting these in order from least to greatest. So we have 7, 7, and then 8. And it looks like then 10 and 2 12s. A 15, 22, and 26. Okay. And again, we're doing that because we want to make sure that we can correctly find our quartiles and our medians. They have to be in numerical order. So we have this time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 data points. So not quite as easy as last time. So we're going to have 2 middle numbers that make up our median. So I'll show you how to deal with that. Our 2 middle numbers in this case are going to be 12 and 12, and that actually makes it very easy. If they're the same number, then your median is that number. If they're different numbers, then you have to add them together and divide by 2, find the average. So in this case, I'm just going to draw a line right down the middle of those 2 values and put 12 and mark that quartile 2. All right. Then you can see it's split into 2 sets of 4 numbers, 7, 8, 10, and 12, and 12, 15, 22, and 26. So I need to find the lower quartile. The lower quartile, the 2 middle numbers are 8 and 10. So again, because we have 2 middle numbers, I have to average those. 10 plus 8 is 18, and 18 divided by 2 is going to give us 9. All right, so our quartile 1 is 9. All right, and let's see, so we have 9, we have 9 and 12 so far. We're going to go do the same thing on the other side. Our 2 middle numbers are 15 and 22. So we're going to do 15 and 22, which is going to give us 37. All right, and 37 divided by 2. All right, so that's going to give us, we're going to have to do a little math here, so I don't want to make a mistake. So 2 goes into 3 once. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1, bring down 17, and that's going to give us 8. So it's going to end up being 18.5. So we're going to bring down a 0, and then it's going to be able to give us a 0.5. So our upper quartile is going to be 18.5, which is quartile 3. All right. So I'll circle that as well. And then just as I did on the last example, you also need to mark your lowest number, 7, and your highest number, 26, because they're also a part of your plot. So let's go ahead and get a number line drawn out real quick. And this time, because you have such a wide range of numbers, you can also sketch a number line that only involves the numbers you're dealing with. Last time I did all of them, and you can see it takes a little bit of time. The main concern you would have here, you would want to have here, is that you are able to read one. So I'll also show you what would be acceptable. So I'm going to just draw a basic number line here, nothing crazy. Let's make it black here. All right, nothing too far. And basically, if you're not going to put all numbers and you're only going to put the numbers that are part of your data set, you have to just keep them in vicinity of each other, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So my lowest number, I'm going to start by going ahead and marking that. So the lowest number is 7. All right. The next number would be 9. So 7 and 9 are pretty close, so I'm going to keep them pretty close together, like so. The next number is 12. So again, 12 is fairly close to 9, maybe a little. That's about the same, really. So there we go. Next, we jump to 18.5, which is a little bit further away. So we'll put 18.5 about right here. All right, and then we jump all the way to 26, which would be out here. All right, and you can see you're still getting the relationships between the numbers as long as you keep them fairly close in vicinity to what they would be, and your box and whisker plot should still work out just fine. All right, so now that we've labeled everything on the bottom, we can go and place our points. So again, you place the points above the number line. So we have 7, 9, 12, 18.5, and 26. All right, so you should have 5 points. And now we're going to go ahead and make our box and whisker. So again, to make the box and whisker, you start at your lower quartile, which in this case is 9, and you're going to extend the box all the way to your upper quartile, which is 18.5. All right, just like so. Again, you mark your median, the median of the entire data, quartile 2, with a line. Okay, and then you extend all the way out to your upper extreme and all the way out to your lower extreme. All right, and that's how you create a box and whisker. So let's take a look, though, at a little bit more information that you'll be asked to do. You can see this time it's already been created for you. You're able to then answer some questions. You learn to draw them out and sketch them, and then that helps you then learn to read them. So the first question here is, what is the median? So again, what you have to remember is, what is the median? Well, the median is always marked with a line in the box and whisker plot. So they actually make it a little easy for you to figure out. The line here, as you can see, is right there in the middle. So in this case, that would be 21. All right. What is the upper quartile, or quartile 3? So again, the upper quartile is marked at the right end of the box. Okay, you have a left end of the box and a right end of the box. So when you're looking at your box and whisker plot, it's the far end. It should be a larger number, larger than the lower quartile, of course. So in this case, you can see it's right here at 23. And then what is the IQR? You heard that earlier, but I didn't use that abbreviation. It's the interquartile range. To find the interquartile range, you subtract the upper quartile and the lower quartile. Okay, so our lower quartile, we can go ahead and mark that as 19, because it is 19. So we're going to do 23 minus 19 to find our answer. So in this case, we're going to get, looks like 4. All right, so the interquartile range is 4. All right, let's take a look at another one here. Similar example. This time the questions are, what is the lower extreme? Okay, again, the lower extreme, sometimes referred to as the lower extrema, things of that nature, is going to be 16. It's the lowest number of the whole data set. It's not a part of your box, it's one of the extensions. So it's the lower extension, in this case, is 16. What is the lower quartile? Again, the lower quartile, also called quartile 1, is the left end of the box. So in this case, that's going to be 19. And finally, what is the range? Well, be careful, because you have interquartile range and you also have range, okay? Which again, when you're finding regular range, that is going to be the highest value minus the lowest value. So in this case, it's going to be 24 minus 16. You're not finding interquartile range, you're finding the regular range. So in this case, you can do a little borrowing here and you get 8. All right. And one more. Let's see what we got here. So in this case, they're just going through some of the similar questions. What is the median? Again, look for that line within the box. The median here is right on 32. What is the IQR, or interquartile range? Well, here we have 33 as our upper quartile minus 31. So the difference there is going to be simply 2. And finally, what is quartile 1? Again, quartile 1 was also known as the lower quartile. That is the left side of the box, the point at the left of the box, and that's going to be 31. All right. Well, this has been Box and Whisker Plot, a quick tutorial on Box and Whisker Plot. Thank you for joining me.